Me llamo María José Molinero, yo pasé 21 días en coma, estuve en el otro lado.
In 2022, I had a near-death experience. From January 4th to January 25th, I was in another dimension, never returning to my body until I woke up in intensive care. There, I encountered beings from another reality who showed me future events for humanity. My mission now is to share what I have learned and help people prepare. It all began in December 2021 when I caught a cold. Due to the health restrictions at the time, I was not allowed to use aerosol therapy. I was only prescribed inhaled medications, which unfortunately do not work for me. As a result, my condition worsened. After 10 days at home, on New Year's Eve, I experienced severe breathing difficulties and went to the hospital, where I was admitted with bilateral pneumonia. After 4 days in the ward with no improvement, they decided to move me to intensive care. On my third night in the hospital, I had an unusual experience. I woke up terrified, with the feeling that something terrible was about to happen. The next morning, the doctors confirmed that my oxygen levels had dropped drastically. They connected me to a more powerful device, but I continued to decline. On the morning of January 4th, I fell into a coma, and at that moment, I left my body. During those 21 days in a coma, I found myself in another dimension. I arrived in a dark place filled with negative energy. There I encountered a being that embodied absolute evil. This being subjected me to 3 trials over the first 3 days, one each day. Meanwhile, in my physical body, lying intubated in the hospital bed, a new infection manifested each day. I could hear this being's voice inside me, but not as sound. It was a telepathic language, a flow of hatred and suffering that I could fully perceive. The pain it carried was the pain of the entire world. It was an indescribable torment. Inside me, I kept repeating, "Only the light within me, only the light within me." I clung with all my strength to my connection with the All, to the hope that we are spirits, part of an infinite consciousness. After 3 days of trials, I transcended that dark dimension. However, my physical body was in even more critical condition. I had developed a bacterial infection in my lungs and another in my urinary tract. My family had been warned. My situation was desperate. But I was not there. I was on a very different journey. After those first 3 days, I ascended to a higher plane. It was an infinite white space, boundless, like an immense expanse of light. There, I encountered a relative who had passed away 3 years earlier. I was worried about my son, the love of my life, so I asked that relative to take care of him if I didn't return. But he smiled at me and said, "You will return and be well." Those words seemed impossible. According to what the doctors were telling my family at the time, even if I survived, I would suffer permanent damage. And yet, when I came back, the outcome was scientifically inexplicable, as I will tell you at the end. In that infinite white space, I encountered a being of light whose appearance felt very familiar to me. What this being explained to me is extraordinary. Beings of light do not have a fixed form. They appear to each person in the most reassuring way possible. A Buddhist may see Buddha, a Hindu may see Shiva, others may see figures they feel close to. Why? Because the form is not important. What matters is the message of love. The appearance of the being of light adapts to the one perceiving it, speaking directly to their heart. To me, it appeared as Christ, and I saw it in the form of Jesus because, in a past life, I had been close to him. But he does not belong to any religion. He himself made me understand a profound truth. He is a consciousness, part of the Supreme Being, a manifestation that guides the evolution of Earth, the solar system, and the entire galaxy. And he showed me a future event that will happen, with no way to prevent it. But he reassured me, neither I nor my loved ones will be affected. Yet, before giving me this certainty, he asked me a question that shook me. What are you doing with your life? There, every thought is transparent. There are no lies. I felt his sadness because, despite having received many spiritual experiences, I had been avoiding my mission out of fear of exposure. We all have a purpose in this life. Some fulfill it publicly, others in the shadows, but every mission is essential. I felt a deep sense of guilt. not because I was being judged, but because I realized what I had been neglecting. I was immersed in pure light, immense love, and absolute peace. Being in those realms means forgetting all suffering, feeling part of something infinite. But deep inside, I understood that if I returned, I would have to fully embrace my purpose and stop fearing visibility. That is why I am in this video, why I started a YouTube channel, to spread my message, the purpose of my life. I saw the consciousness, which I perceived as Jesus, moving between Earth and the higher planes. Through telepathy, I understood that he was doing everything possible to guide humanity through an inevitable evolutionary shift. I was shown that the planet is destined to transform. Those who are ready will ascend with it. Those who are not will have to continue reincarnating in similar worlds, experiencing duality until they reach greater awareness. The universe follows precise cycles established by the Supreme Being. The only goal is to recognize that we are all part of the same source and to live in peace and brotherhood. This is what humanity must understand. And if it does not do so willingly, it will still happen, but through more difficult trials. The time to choose is running out. The longer we postpone change, the more we will be forced to rush at the last moment, and it will be chaos. It's like preparing for an exam. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes. During my journey, I saw Christ continuously interceding for humanity, and he made me understand that everything follows a single plan. Beings from other worlds and beings of light are not that separate. They all cooperate for the same cause. I saw an asteroid heading toward Earth, but I do not want to spread fear because I was shown that everything will be under control. Certain events are necessary to awaken humanity. Too many people have forgotten their spiritual nature and identify only with the body and material existence. Unfortunately, human beings tend to rediscover faith only in times of crisis. It is painful to accept, but I have understood that some trials are inevitable to push us toward change. I heard a deep, absolute telepathic voice say, "There are things that must happen." Those words carried a sense of unavoidable destiny. If humanity does not unite, if it does not rediscover its spiritual essence, progress will be impossible. The Earth must evolve, and those who are not ready will follow their path elsewhere. The only requirement to remain on this evolving planet is to live in the right vibration, to be good people, to think with love, to act with awareness. But today, even those who consider themselves good are full of judgment, resentment, and ambition. A true inner transformation is needed. After this revelation, I saw translucent beings wrapped in white robes. They had a human appearance, women with golden hair, men with white hair, but they were not angels. They observed the earth attentively, but without empathy for humanity. They were not concerned about us, only about the planet's evolution. At that level of consciousness, I understood their perspective. We are not our bodies, and our existence does not end with death. Yet, feeling their indifference hurt me. Even if something were to impact the planet, we would not truly die. Just as in my coma, we would simply leave the body and transition to another plane. This body is just a temporary garment. I tried to explain to these evolved beings that, even though the body is transient, the soul suffers in this dimension, but they, having never experienced human incarnation, could not fully comprehend it. They showed me scenes of a future event, the asteroid visible in broad daylight with terrified people running home to be with their loved ones. I sensed that this was happening in North America, but I do not know if it will affect other areas. At that moment, humanity will realize it has been deceived. Governments, who already knew about the asteroid, will have said nothing. I felt the people's anger upon discovering this manipulation. I was made to live inside the bodies of different people to experience their emotions. An elderly woman abandoned in a nursing home, finding comfort only in the gentle touch of a kind nurse. A person undergoing gender transition, feeling deep pain. Many other moments of loneliness, fear, and suffering. When I expressed my sadness to these beings, they responded, "And where would you take all of humanity?" I perceived their detachment and a certain rejection toward the human race. The human race destroys wherever it goes, they told me. and in that moment I felt immense pain because I could not contradict them. Looking at the world, it is evident that we do not treat ourselves or the planet well. Then I moved on to another level, where they explained things to me that I cannot reveal yet. They showed me the importance of connecting with the earth, meditating, and immersing ourselves in nature to harmonize with the planet's transforming energy. Every time I lost this connection, I fell into the density of matter. Only through the heart can we rise. The last memory I can share is the moment when I completely merged with the cosmos. I saw everything, my family, my son, events that seemed impossible but later came true. In that final instant, I was pure consciousness. In that moment, I was one with the universe. Each of us transitions to different dimensions after death, depending on our spiritual evolution. There is no single experience. I saw the Supreme Being as an immense light, pure expansion of love. The light pulsed intensely, and I woke up in intensive care. As soon as I opened my eyes, the doctors told me I had been in a coma for 21 days. My recovery was inexplicable. Within a few days, I overcame infections and damage that should have left permanent scars. In 10 days, I was already home. My pulmonologist, in disbelief, told me what happened to you is unexplainable. After my return, my life changed completely. And I want to leave you with an important message. Spirituality is not a course or a technique. It is not about channeling or having extraordinary experiences. Spirituality is transforming yourself from within. It is stopping hatred, stopping judgment, forgiving, truly loving. I was shown that a time will come when all of humanity will have a direct connection with the Supreme Being. This change will not happen in 300 years. It is about to begin in this lifetime. For those who wish to delve deeper, I share everything on my channel YouTube, created solely to spread this message. Thank you all. I hope I have been able to help. The time for change is near.
Thank you, Maria. What do you think? Isn't this an extraordinary experience? Are you ready for the change? The link to Maria's YouTube channel is in the description, of course. See you in the comments. Let your voice resonate within the vast tapestry of those seeking to awaken to their true potential. The videos on this channel are nothing but sparks, ready to ignite debate and discussion. It is in the comments, in the contributions of an extraordinary community, that the true heartbeat of this space of freedom and growth can be found. So, my friend, thank you for this exchange. If this message has touched you, I invite you to continue the journey with the next video, which you see on screen. You are the universe, we are the universe, and now you are part of us, this new community of special beings.